Currency Advocate, the Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about here on this live edition. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
And if you want to watch the stream, I just started it. It's cam.freetalklive.com. Sorry about that. And thanks to American Psycho, listening on D Live, for letting me know. That's, there you go. I had no idea what I'm doing behind this driver's seat here. It's Mark with you. Did we already do the introduction?
Yeah, we'll do it again, though. Richie Rich.
Okay.
And Melanie.
Let's go to Steve, calling in from St. Augustine. Just get it on to somebody to talk to here. Steve, you're on Free Talk Live.
How you doing?
All's well. What's on your mind, sir?
Sound like you're having fun.
Yeah, well, I'm doing my best.
I'm referring back to your comment before the previous break where you, I don't know, what is this, Mark? I can't remember.
I am on the main mic, yes. Mark.
Okay. But in a nutshell, you were talking about personal responsibility.
It's my favorite thing.
To some degree. Reminded me of something. One of my favorite writers was Thomas Sowell.
I like him too.
He said, when the government attempts to insulate the populace from the pressures of life, you end up with a country full of adolescents.
Yeah.
I believe it.
And there's an old saying there, right? Really. Like hard times create strong men. Strong men create good times create weak men create hard times, and then hard times, and then it goes over again, or something to that
Wash,
effect.
rinse, repeat.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I've got it exactly right, but that's the idea generally. And a lot of times,
write a song.
That's how I feel about what I'm seeing.
What stage are we in now?
It's weak men.
Okay.
I'm sorry. You go to the Art of Manliness and you look at the things that men need to be able to do, and you presume that they can't. I mean, admittedly.
And I know it's very. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Steve. I mean, I don't change my own oil, but I could if I had to.
Yeah, me too. I'm a lot older than you. I don't like crawling under the car.
I doubt you're much older than I am. You don't sound much older than I am. I'm 49.
I'm 69.
Okay, you beat me.
But I just lost my thought there. I was going to say, yeah.
I generally tend to agree with you.
Man,
You're quoting Thomas Sowell for a minute there. And then...
Oh, no. It was, the thing is, if you've got to, I say this to people, they get mad. I said, I don't need the government to tell me not to sneeze on people.
Yeah.
I don't need.
But some people do, and that's the sad thing.
To stay away. Well, I know, I understand that, but and it's very easy to blame the left for the hype and the fear and the pumping this thing up. And I can understand some of that, but you know what? We have to take responsibility because we got tricked into it.
I kind of, for me, I would have never accepted it. Not at any point did I say.
I remain untricked.
I didn't either.
Yeah, so I
didn't either. And maybe tricked is the wrong word, but my biggest question is, so what happens when the next thing comes along? Because the communist Chinese know how to get to us now, real easy.
Right. And that's the. Now you're playing my song, Steve.
Right. That's what we led the show with. Was like, this is the plan for the pandemic.
I've said enough. Somebody else might want to call in.
Appreciate it, Steve. Yeah, thanks for the call. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, we were just talking about the good times creating weak men creating hard times, that kind of thing. I've been in my whole life, there's always been somebody we were scared of. First it was the Russians, and then it was the Japanese, and then it was the Russians again. And then, after that, it was, they were always talking about Brazil was going to be the next strong economy. And there's a variety of things that have been percolating up. But this thing with China is they're spitting out 500,000 STEM grads per year. Do you know what that means?
Science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Actual majors?
Yeah, 5 million. So the United States is spitting out about 500,000. Now, there's a population difference.
Significant population difference.
4 times, not 10 times.
Okay.
And then you consider those STEM graduates that the United States has are largely of dubious national origin. Do you know what I'm saying when I say that?
That they come here for the education.
They're frickin' Chinese.
Okay. I was going to say Indian.
And Indian.
Okay.
Indian, yeah. And, I'm only trying to pitch, and I'm talking about Chinese as a nationality here, not as, there's plenty of Chinese that are like, I want to get the heck out of China, and those are the Chinese we should be welcoming. Absolutely. But, Americans who are sitting there, little American kids, American-born, by American-born parents to American-born grandparents, those are the people I'm talking about. You and your children are not prepared for what's coming. And what's coming is China is graduating 5 million STEM grads every year. They're not doing it to help the American economy. They're doing it because they believe, just as Americans do, that it is their natural and God-given right to be at the top. And for them to get to the top, y'all have to come down.
That's partially true. And if that's the plan and they're doing a good job of it, who cares? What is that? How does that affect me and my future if it's completely within their control to go into those fields and Americans' choice to not?
Right. And I think that that's one of the things that we just sort of have to consider about the truism that good times bring weak men and weak men bring hard times, and then the whole circular thing. What can you do about it? You can do nothing about it.
Well, even if it's not a problem that China is doing it, it's a problem that we're not. Not necessarily because it's not like, these people aren't getting degrees because they're self-taught engineers who are opening their own businesses. Right. That's not the disparity there. The disparity is they're either doing no-skill labor or they're getting degrees in silliness and then I guess turning around and working in no-skill labor.
Why do I care if my engineer is Chinese or not? If I need something built and the top person to hire for that job happens to be a Chinese engineering grad,
you can
you should care if you're surrounded by unproductive people.
Why? I just import the Chinese dude.
Well, you don't get to make that choice.
At some point or another, look, you may not believe in a state, and I know you don't.
Okay.
But the Chinese Communist Party absolutely does.
Okay.
Like 100% they do. And they believe in a state in a way that you've never experienced in your life.
True.
A really, really ugly state. And look, I'm not saying America is free, because it's not. But I am saying it's a far sight better than China. And China is, it's breathing down our necks. And look, you can be a nationalist or not nationalist if that's what you wish to do. I'm not particularly nationalist, but I see it. But I know a threat when I see one. Now, mind you, I don't expect it to be a threat in my lifetime. I'm 49 years old.
What's the threat, though?
The threat is the United States is nice because the United States government has gone and robbed, pillaged, and stolen around the world. Okay? And once they are in the position where they no longer have the world reserve currency and the yuan, the renminbi,
then we're going to feel inflation for real.
Right. The United States currency crashes into nothingness. Take a look at Weimar Germany. Take a look at Zimbabwe. I mean, you know what it looks like when
you got to make the connection between that and STEM graduates, because that's where you're losing me.
The United States is where it is because there were hard men willing to work their butts off to get to where we are today.
Okay.
And look, I'm just talking the greatest generation. They're nothing compared to the men and women that were willing to do what it took to get the greatest generation to be called the greatest generation. Okay. Those are the children of the hard-fought builders of this nation, and they're the last ones.
So the Chinese,
and I'm not the greatest generation, mind you. I'm a Gen X.
The Chinese graduates, those STEM graduates, are going to propel China in the fields of science, technology, engineering, mathematics.
Right. Those are people, STEM graduates. Read that as people willing to work.
Okay.
Okay.
Those people in China are going to then work for the Chinese regime
because they have no choice.
To do what? To just dominate the financial market?
To create soft power, to create hard power, and at some point or another to move in on Taiwan, where the conflict then occurs between the United States military and the Chinese military.
So it's a military threat.
It's an everything threat.
Okay. I'm not threatened by Chinese STEM graduates.
You don't.
I mean, you can believe that. But.
Okay. Look, you don't have to be threatened by Chinese STEM graduates.
Okay.
But that's what we call a fool, right? Like somebody who sits there and watches the numbers rolling by that show them everything. And, maybe it won't matter in your lifetime.
Okay.
But it may very well matter in your child's lifetime.
I still don't see what they're not going to be able to do because...
Who's they?
My children, grandchildren, whatever.
Would you like your children to be in an economy like Great Britain where it's completely controlled and used to be a world power? Because that's what it's going to look like.
Because China takes over the world economy and there's no other alternatives?
No, the United States isn't in its position anymore.
Okay. So be it.
There you go. That's fine. The world will spin on.
Yeah.
It's just that, China will be in charge, be the world power. Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
Do you want more businesses accepting Bitcoin Cash and Dash? Now with AnyPay, you earn passive income for every purchase at those businesses. Finally, a financial incentive to spread Bitcoin Cash and Dash. You made it happen, so you receive the rewards. Download the AnyPay Cash Register app and add your cryptocurrency wallet addresses. Then install it at a real-life business and tell us what you did at anypayinc.com. anypayinc.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,729, silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,519. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, David Beasley, director of the United Nations World Food Program, told the UN Security Council this week that the world is on the brink of a hunger pandemic, and we could be facing, quote, multiple famines of biblical proportions within a short few months, end quote. Beasley warned that the world is facing a perfect storm due to the pandemic, economic crisis, locust swarms, and numerous wars that are still ongoing across the planet. The Mind Unleashed reports that according to the 2020 Global Report on Food Crisis, which was published this week, an additional 135 million people will be facing starvation by the end of the year. Beasley said that places like Haiti, Nepal, and Somalia, where a large number of families depend on income from overseas workers, will be hit especially hard. He urged world leaders to set aside their differences and slow down their military adventures to meet the current challenge. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. In the wake of the ongoing COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, premium supermarket chain Whole Foods has redesigned its uniform, giving employees shirts that designate them as heroes and hardcore. The revamp is one of many actions large corporations across the world have taken to symbolically thank their workers amidst the global crisis. Minpress News reports that the move has not been appreciated by many of Whole Foods' 91,000 staff who work in 500 stores across North America, especially as the retail behemoth has failed to provide staff with adequate wages or protective equipment, endangering their lives. A new petition, set up by activists, alleges that workers have to clean the store without protection or training and are unable to regularly wash their hands. Megan Murray, a Whole Foods store worker in Philadelphia, writes that many of the precautionary procedures put in place are laughably poor. Two Texas police officers went undercover in an elaborate sting operation to catch citizens giving salon services for money in their own home. The cops posed as regular citizens needing to get a manicure. Tipsters pointed police to a woman who was advertising manicure services on social media. Activist Post reports that Laredo police arrested Ana Isabel Castro Garcia at the 1200 block of Harding Street after she allegedly agreed to provide an undercover officer with a manicure. The 31-year-old Castro Garcia was arrested and charged with violation of Emergency Management Plan CB and was taken to the Webb County Jail, where she was offered a $500 bond. In a separate and unrelated case, 20-year-old Brenda Stephanie Matta was arrested at the 1100 block of Hubner Street after she allegedly offered to do an undercover cop's lashes. Just like Castro Garcia, she was charged with violation of Emergency Management Plan CB and was also taken to the Webb County Jail for booking. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Shortly after accidentally clicking like on nearly 400 of his ex-girlfriend's Facebook photos earlier today, panicked area man Adam Nuensing spoke to Onion reporters about his mistake.
Damn it, I was just looking at one of Rebecca's Instagram photos that showed up in my newsfeed, and the next thing I know, I just liked every single photo that she posted over the last 4 years. I didn't mean to, but it just kind of happened.
The 28-year-old told reporters that he had browsed through 14 of his ex-girlfriend's photo albums while inadvertently clicking like on each and every picture, including dozens from her office picnic last fall, her trip to New York in 2010, and a photo of her and her first boyfriend from 2006.
I thought if I went back and clicked unlike on all those pictures, that maybe she wouldn't get any notifications. But then I saw some other albums, and I ended up liking 80 more photos and shared them on my wall. Shit.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live.
The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You can call in and talk about what you want to talk about. We have been talking, well, a variety of things here on Free Talk Live, but for show prep, we were going into the UN claiming that this economic downturn caused by COVID-19, meaning the reaction to COVID-19.
Yeah, COVID-19 did not cause the economic downturn.
No.
COVID-19 didn't do much of anything.
Well, we don't know what it could have done, but the people that would make that claim, we don't know what it could have done, and that's a true claim. But on the same side, you have to take responsibility for what the reaction was. So, what is the reaction here, Melanie?
Yeah. So, and then tens of millions of more could fall into extreme poverty, and I think that
go back in that start off with a paragraph there.
Okay, hundreds of thousands of children could die this year due to the global economic downturn, allegedly sparked by the coronavirus pandemic, and tens of millions more could fall into extreme poverty as a result of the crisis, the United Nations warned on Thursday. Now, I want to point out extreme poverty might not be, if you live in the first world, anything you would think of as poverty. Extreme poverty is like you might actually starve to death. Extreme poverty is usually considered $2 a day.
Which sounds terrible in the United States.
And we really haven't had that kind of world starvation thing going on. In my lifetime, there was the Ethiopian thing. Now, that was caused by a conflict where armed people were taking the food that we were attempting to send to people in camps. And that's happened a few times in my lifetime, but we really haven't had that I know of. It hasn't been publicized to me.
All starvation in the world currently is induced by states.
Yes, it's caused by governments. It's not caused by... One of the reasons for having governments was to store grain in a way so that we could prevent starvation. And now that we've come full circle, the starvation is actually that exists is being caused by governments, or at the very least people in power. Because there are people who, are keeping some kid in a cupboard down underneath their stairs, a la
What about all the farmers throwing out perfectly good food because there's no market for it?
Well, there is a market for it. It's food. The problem is the regulations telling them where they can and can't sell it. People aren't eating less because of the lockdown.
Right. There are schools with milk contracts. There are farmers with milk contracts with schools right now that are dumping that milk rather than giving it to pig farmers who could be growing pigs right now with that milk because their milk contract could be, they don't even know for sure, but it could be threatened by giving it to the wrong people. Okay. So, it's all government regulation. It all comes back to the state every time these days. Go ahead.
The UN also said in a risk report that nearly 369 million children across 143 countries who normally rely on school meals for a reliable source of daily nutrition have now been forced to look elsewhere. And if you're in a country that is in fact poor, there is not elsewhere to look. We must act now on each of these threats to our children, UN Secretary General Antonio said. Leaders must do everything in their power to cushion the impact of the pandemic, and he means lockdown. What started as a public health emergency has snowballed into a formidable test for the global promise to leave no one behind. I don't remember anyone promising that, but...
Right. Well, that was the idea.
But we're not supposed to be actively starving them either, right?
Right. Well, that's the idea is that somehow if you don't lock down the economy, you're willing to let people die for the economy, and that's ridiculous. If you don't lock down the economy, you're willing to let people die, presumably, for freedom. And that's what's happened all along. That's supposed to be the history of the United States.
A more noble death.
Ultimately, that's what it is. And B, hey, if you feel like you should stay home, that was always allowed.
You're free to do that.
You could do that. You could order in. There'd be more people to order in from because you're not forcing them to mess up their lives.
Right. This would have been a great opportunity for a politician to stand up and say, I could try to lock everybody down, but that would be immoral. In fact, I would go so far as to say it's evil. I'd like to show you a picture of the Chinese Communist Party that welded a door shut so that people in an apartment complex couldn't get out. Do you want America to be like that? And if you do, we'll let United Airlines fly you right over to Beijing.
And if Beijing is up and coming as a world power, it might not be a bad place to be.
There you go. Derek, calling in from Charleston. Derek, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, man, I just kind of wanted to touch base, what you talked about before we went to commercial, about the STEM graduates, these Chinese coming over here. You know, we educating all these Chinese, and they're graduating all these STEM degrees. Man, I'm not understanding how you're not, drawing the correlation between that's. I mean, that's pretty significant, especially when you gave out those statistics. That's pretty alarming at the rate they're graduating.
Are you talking about the one guy on the show that didn't get the correlation, or?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I'm not understanding how he's not
Richie?
getting it. I mean, yeah.
Richie, what don't you get?
I didn't make the connection between STEM graduates and a dominant Chinese military overthrow of the entire world.
Well, it could be a military overthrow.
Well, because it's they're coming over here. It's the application of these studies. I mean, these Chinese are coming out here and they're graduating these STEM classes, man. It's pretty simple, man. I mean, they're here splitting atoms, and they're doing big time fields of studies, man. Developing satellites. And
literature majors didn't make the Manhattan Project,
No, I got
it. Space weaponry and all this stuff. I mean, we got our kids over here getting studied in gender identity pronouns and crazy stuff like that, CalFarts, and I mean that's when our kids are graduating, and the Chinese are actually getting, logical, practical application degrees that I mean it's only a matter of time before they lap us, man.
That part I get. Unless you're talking about a military threat, I don't care.
Well, sure, it's a military threat. I mean they're not over here getting STEM degrees.
Well, yeah, countries with IQs of 60 aren't developing nuclear weapons and becoming a threat to anyone.
No, but they are developing biological.
It doesn't
weapons,
matter.
like,
anyone.
I'm going to put you on hold, Derek.
So if you have a smarter population and are actually, applying that intelligence to something useful, whether it's useful in a practical sense or useful only to a state, yeah, that translates into military power. Because first of all, most science, even in the U.S., is not controlled, but is funded and kind of loosely controlled by the state. Like, you don't have a whole lot of private, just pure science
Scientists
labs.
tend to work for organizations that tend to work.
So if China has more scientists in the state of China, that does kind of translate into Chinese power.
And unless it's military power, I don't care. Right? Like, I don't.
But it's going to be.
That's the only threat then. That's the only correlation that needs to be made then.
The United States only holds on to its power that it has right now because of its military.
And I don't want them to have the power either.
I understand you don't. I get it. However, that's the reality that you live in.
Sure.
And what apparently reality is offering you is the United States federal government, a la Washington, D.C., or the Chinese Communist Party, a la Beijing. And
as the world power. Like, that's it.
It sure ain't St. Kitts and Nevis.
Okay.
But
you're talking about like military power, because if it's that's all I'm saying.
So the Beijing has apparently, they claim, developed a weapon called the carrier killer.
Right.
The reason the United States has the power it has is because it can get airplanes with bombs on them to certain locations. Without the ship that carries those airplanes, then this carrier killer that's supposedly a missile that will go up into the, way up in the atmosphere and come back down at Mach 15.
So without the United States military protecting me, I'm going to be overrun by the Chinese military.
I don't think it's necessarily going to affect you.
Then why do I care?
Why do you care? Do you want Beijing running the world?
If they do a better job of it.
They won't.
You don't know.
Yes, I do. I can look at China.
We can look at China and we can look at the U.S. and
They're
see which
graduating
one's
STEM
worse.
graduates, and you're saying that that's a good thing and going to put them in power. Obviously, if it's a good thing, they should be in power.
Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
The next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Find out about your common law rights. Move about the land freely in your personal conveyance or on foot. Know what to say if stopped by a man or woman in a costume, and proceed safely on your way. Also, find out how to lawfully keep all the money you make free of tax. Protect your liberty and freedoms in a peaceful and lawful way by adding William Stenson 60 at yahoo.com to your Skype contacts. And let's talk free on Skype. That's William Stenson 60 at yahoo.com.
Free Talk Live.
I did all this construction. Well, I had the inspector come through, and he tells me it looks really good, but I think it looks better with Mr. Hamilton. I go, excuse me? He grabs a sledgehammer, and he just starts tearing the place apart. He says it'd be better with Mr. Hamilton. He was looking for payoff.
A $10 bill?
The guy was crazy. He went into my kitchen, and he asked for Mr. Lincoln.
I don't think I believe you.
My mother left me a porcelain doll collection that he just went to town on. And this is the problem with having to have inspections.
Thanks for the call, man. No, that was believable at the very first point.
The guy was asking for Mr. Hamilton.
How about Mr.
Alexander
Franklin?
Hamilton is on the front of a $10 bill. I mean, I'm like, holy crap, he's banging holes in the wall for a $10 bill?
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
My name is Jacob Hornberger. I'm president of the Future of Freedom Foundation, which Congressman Ron Paul awarded for having an outstanding freedom website. Write us at fff@fff.org, and we'll send you a free 3-month subscription to our monthly journal of libertarian essays and our booklet, Economic Liberty in the Constitution, which George Mason University economics professor Walter Williams praised in a recent column. That's fff@fff.org.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
I don't see how we can not talk about China since it's just rolling here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
Yeah, so Richie doesn't seem to think it's a problem if Beijing's power increases over time. And I certainly do think it's a problem.
Because all of a sudden the threat is that the Chinese government is going to have me extradited for being a freedom lover.
Well, yeah, let's run through that scenario so that so there's not just some claim that's thrown out there. So I have to grind my way back in our conversation in order to get to that point. So my claim is that China is poising itself to take over as the new world power and will make its currency the new world reserve currency.
And doing it through science, technology, engineering, and mathematics.
Right. Those are the only real jobs out there. Okay. If your kid's in school for literature or, underwater basket weaving or gender studies or liberal arts or whatever, I'm sure that it's great, but ultimately it isn't sort of the real job that made this country great. This country's great because it was able to make things at one point, and it can't now. It can't make anything without China, its greatest competitor on the world stage. So when China decides, and it's pretty clear and obvious that they want to do this, is that they're going to, increase their soft power to the point that they basically control the whole globe, then, basically the United States will be pushed back into the North American continent. It'll be, Canada, Mexico, and the United States kind of doing their thing. Where it should be. What's that?
Where it should be.
I'm not claiming that it shouldn't.
Okay.
But I am claiming that inside of that nature abhors a vacuum.
Okay.
And that today, the way things are, and look, I'm not the one who wants to make an argument for a state. I'm not that kind of guy. But I'm telling you that states exist. Do you claim that they don't?
The concept does exist.
Well, the issue isn't the U.S. won't be on top. The issue is China will.
Right. That's not the right. I mean, I know you've listened to Free Talk Live for a while, and Ian will rail on about the United States being the worst government ever in the world. It's simply because it's simply untrue.
I'm not saying it's the worst, but the claim that I'm hearing is that, oh my God, we're graduating, liberal arts degrees, and China's graduating STEM degrees.
You are used to living in a world power, and that is very different than living in, I guess, a regular country, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And if you live in a regular country, you have to abide by what the regular country wants and what the world powers want.
Okay.
Right, because there are only 3 governments right now. There are 3 states. Those states are sovereign states. The United States, China, and Moscow.
Okay.
Forget, and I should have said Washington, D.C., Beijing, and Moscow. Because, frankly, if you live in Des Moines, you're not the government. It's only the people in Washington, D.C. that are the government. So those 3 places are the world's city-states, and those are the nation states. They control everything.
So in this hypothetical future where China takes over, they're the country that has graduated science, technology, engineering, mathematics. They're the top of the heap as far as real jobs concerned.
Yep.
And you want me to defend the United States, who's graduating underwater basket weaving and gender studies, to remain in power?
I'm telling you that the world is going to be a less pleasant place if the Chinese Communist Party is dictating how things go. And I will use it as an example, Julian Assange.
Okay.
So Julian Assange was basically, let out some papers that made the United States government look bad. Having to do with private manning and all that stuff, where, some journalists were killed by a helicopter, and it's like, oh dear, the reporters or the soldiers are in danger because we're reporting things, and obviously it's patent nonsense. But the United States government managed to get Sweden to charge Julian Assange with rape or something like rape. It's like basically saying, going into a bar and saying, yeah, young lady, I'm an astronaut. And
this is the better of the 2 choices.
Yes, that's right. That's the claim I'm going to make.
Okay.
And I get that it isn't a pleasant choice. I get that we're stuck here on a cow farm raiding cow patties. Okay. I get that. I'm 100% clear. But you do understand that when the bully grabs you by the head and says, pick your cow pie, I'm putting your face in it, he's not saying that you get to pick the place with just nothing but green grass. He's going to pick a cow pie if you don't.
Okay.
This is the bully. He's got the back of your head. He's gigantic, and he's going to shove your face in a cow pie coming up here. So Julian Assange, the United States government wants him. Now, basically, all of our beliefs in freedom of the press and all that stuff goes out the window. When I say our, I believe that that's what we were taught in civics class. But the federal government doesn't care anything about that. They want Julian Assange. So Great Britain basically imprisons the dude for 8 years until they turn him over to the United States, which has been torturing him for the last 6 months or so. Maybe it's 8 months. I don't know exactly. That kind of power that Washington, D.C. has over London is the same sort of power that Beijing will have over Washington, D.C. in this new, scarier world that I'm talking about. And I'm not saying that I like the idea of all the wonderful things that Washington, D.C. has done. I do not. I consider people in power to be tyrants, but I do understand some tyrants are worse than others.
And the way to fix this is for the United States to stop underwater basket weaving and gender studies and graduate more STEM degrees.
I think the way to fix this is for Americans of all stripes, but just the ones listening to me, to say, hey, look, you have to take responsibility for your life and stop looking to the state to solve it. This country was built by rugged individualists. And
who are going to get taken over by the Chinese government, sent extradited to China on Beijing's command, put up no resistance and no fight because that's not what freedom lovers do.
I just don't think that at this point, what I see in the future, China isn't going to fight a battle it's going to lose. So, the question is, do you want to see the United States continue to get weaker and weaker? And did you see the movie A Few Good Men? You can't handle the truth.
Yeah, a couple times throughout my life.
And in it, the colonel, played so well by Jack Nicholson. Is it Nicholson?
The golfer is Nicholas.
Right. I get those two confused. I'm terribly sorry. I'm just not really great names. He was played so well because he really did take the position. And I think this is an important position that, look, if you're going to train paid killers that are going to stand on walls to defend our freedom, ultimately, some people are going to be harmed in that training, or your training isn't worth anything. And, ultimately, I agree with Jack Nicholson.
Sure.
America can't handle the truth.
People do you want that position to exist or not? And if you don't want it to exist, that's a separate argument. But saying, I want people to act primally and be snipers, but I want them to also be calm-headed is a ridiculous position.
I want
a calm sniper is like the best kind of sniper.
No, but you don't want people to end up there reading. If you want a sniper, you don't want a dude sitting up there, but man, economy, and state. Should I really be you? If that's the position you want, and I don't think it should be, but if it is, you can't also have things that conflict with that position.
Okay. Am I in conflict somewhere with that
The
position?
guy who was doing the cross-examination was.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they showed Tom Hanks's character as not Tom Hanks, Tom Cruise's character as the hero in that, and ultimately, to me, he's the problem.
Okay.
And it's sad. I want more freedom, but you ain't gonna get it out of Beijing. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Call in and grill Mark the Statist. Free Talk Live.
So now I've got this pack of 4 Shar-Pei rescue dogs. Jimmy, Coco, another Shar-Pei, one pug who is Joe. I have stuck with the Dinovite for, oh my goodness, probably 5-6 years.
DINOVITE.com.
People remark on really how well my dogs look, what beautiful coats they've got. I tell them, yep, they get a regular diet of Dinovite with every meal.
Dinovite is nutrition.
All I have to do is say dog food. It's a pandemonium. They can be half asleep, and they're up and thrilled.
She just looks simple, squeaky clean.
You don't need to wait until a problem presents itself. It's far better to keep the dog happy and healthy at all times.
Dinovite for life. You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
People do ask how they get Dinovite. I tell them I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
The political world is a maddening cesspool of corruption and lies. Nobody tells the truth. Nobody keeps campaign promises. Nobody obeys the Constitution. Nobody puts the people first. How can we ever escape this web of tyranny? Vote for nobody.
Hi, my name is Nobody. I'm running for governor of New Hampshire because nobody knows how to live your life better than you do, and nobody deserves that kind of power. I want to put you back in control of your money, your lifestyle, your work, your body, and your life. Nobody should rule you but you. New Hampshire convicts many people of so-called crimes that should never have been prosecuted. If elected, I will pardon every victimless crime in New Hampshire history. This includes drug, gambling, prostitution, gun, and driving offenses. Nobody should have a criminal record when they have not harmed anybody.
Wouldn't it be nice to have nobody telling you what to do? Learn more at electnobody.com. electnobody.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, something that we don't enjoy enough of in the United States these days.
And apparently it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse either way. It's just how bad is it going to get?
Right. Well, I would say this is that... would you agree, Richie Rich, that once we get off lockdown, that all our freedoms will not be returned?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Okay, good. I'm glad we are on board with that. All my goal is here on this show is to hope to turn people's minds towards realizing that human freedom, that liberty is in fact the best solution to most problems. And I'm willing to talk about the ones that it's not a good solution to. And at one point, I would have thought that problem was... At one point relatively recently, I'm like, well, if there was a global pandemic, it'd be kind of nice if somebody could shut down air flights from the bad country and could tell people that they couldn't go out or they had to wear masks or a variety of things. Like, that's kind of a nice little dream of the dictatorial mind, that we could somehow stop something from occurring.
You could, by completely locking it down. Right?
Well, that didn't work for China, did it?
Oh, how are they doing? Like, do you trust the statistics coming out of China?
I don't.
Okay. I had a conversation with my wife and a similar one with Captain Kickass prior to this show. Where he's like, because I moved from Hawaii, right? He's like, surely there must be a difference on the island, right, in handling the lockdown procedures because they're isolated. I went, no, because the only way to do it is the total police state, right, where you lock down all comings and goings until you have 0 cases.
Yeah, I think
that doesn't sound like freedom.
They probably could have simply stopped air flights.
But you got to stop boats, right? You got to stop.
Well, there's nobody bringing a boat from the mainland to Hawaii.
How do you think products get shipped in, man? It's not all planes.
Oh, I see. You're just talking about ships. I'm sorry. I was thinking, when you said boats, I was thinking about pleasure craft.
Oh, yeah, no. Well, they have cruise ships that,
Sure. What you can do is you can come up with systems. A longshoreman can spray it down with some kind of disinfectant and then take the product or leave it out in the sun. COVID-19 doesn't deal with the sun very well, but we didn't know what it was like back in the...
and one of the major kind of hiccups with that is in a free market, the profit and risk are tied together. The state severs that in a lot of cases. So if someone actually owns the airport and was like, there's the plague in X country, I'm canceling all flights from X country because I don't want the plague in my airport because I'm going to be responsible for
But you can't just do it from X country because you don't know who has gotten out of that country and is coming in from a different country.
That's what I'm saying is if in this dictatorial dream...
you could cancel all incoming flights.
That's what they did in Saipan.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't have the worst problem with that, especially if somebody actually owns the airport and is making that call.
So you're saying only in the case of a private airport?
Well, I'm talking about a dictator.
I don't have the worst problem with it right now if we were just canceling all international flights. I mean, there are some issues with that are the states created a situation where there is no libertarian answer. Right. And so I'm not going to sit here and spend the most time on which of the non-libertarian answers I should prefer or not.
Well, the most effective, this is what we talked about before, the most effective non-libertarian answer is a complete lockdown, no comings or goings at all.
And I would make that argument.
No, but there's a libertarian option for people walking down the street, which is not having a lockdown. That there is a libertarian answer there.
Yeah.
Whereas international travel, there is not an internet.
It's not even international.
Not a libertarian
it's national
answer.
Travel. It's island to island travel.
But there is a libertarian answer to that, which is leave it alone.
Well, okay, so
that would be ineffective.
I don't know what would be effective and what wouldn't be effective because we didn't try anything.
Know that.
And the problem is that a democracy is schizophrenic. Okay, so this is my new revelation. Is that in a world where you had a state, like the one thing that state could do is lock down international travel or even national travel. Just stop air flights. Wham!
I mean, if you were to build a wall between Mass and New Hampshire, I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. But that's not going to happen because we know what's going to happen. We saw what's going to happen. So either come up with a better system for dealing with pandemics that is, in my opinion, it'd be less tyrannical if people just couldn't take an air flight, right? Like, we're just shutting down the airlines and the cruise ships. That's it. And we're going to pay those businesses for a month or 6 weeks or whatever and then we'll just start it back
They're
up.
They're paying the airlines anyway, by the way, just on a regular day. So it's not that horrible for them.
But what happens on the island when there's no travel getting off the island and the pandemic hits? Because someone got in prior to that shutdown.
That's what happened.
Some food got imported prior to that shutdown. The ship showed up prior to all of that, right? And now no one's allowed to leave. So you just wipe out the entire. It's like
the
like
economy
a leper,
is wiped out.
No, not the economy. A leper colony because it's not self-sufficient, right? The economy of the island is not. You're not going to feed everyone on the island, clothe everyone on the island, support everyone on the island with just the resources of the island.
Are we talking specifically about the Marianas Islands?
I was specifically talking about the Hawaiian Islands because
Hawaii isn't international from the U.S.
That's why I didn't say international flights. You said international flights. I said domestic as well.
What are we arguing here? What do you want to know?
I don't want to know anything. I'm just saying that the effective way.
All I'm saying is that the state was in charge of the reaction to this test for a pandemic, right? And they failed miserably.
Right.
And people need to understand that's not only possible, it's likely. That the next pandemic that comes through, you really can't count on the government. I mean, you can't count on any institutions. Look at these hospitals. They're like crying, wow, we didn't have enough masks. Seriously? You run a GD hospital and you didn't have 6 months worth of masks? I mean, I have right in my house right now 6 weeks worth of food.
And by the way, that's with canceling medical care to everyone else.
And basically, the places are empty.
So you're not using masks that you would have been using for people who actually need medical care right now. For the pretend corona patients.
Well, okay, so do you expect the hospitals to have like a warehouse full of masks?
Then? Yes.
Why?
I have a small amount of food to be prepared for some kind of problem. Clearly, they had supply chain problems, right? Right now, I'm running around with a mask made of fabric from Joann's Fabrics.
Yeah.
I can't buy a mask.
Right. But prior to that, there was no supply chain problem.
Yes, there was.
No, that's
we just
not
didn't see
true.
it.
What are you talking about? They had no trouble getting masks before everyone had a run on masks.
Well, yeah, if you don't need something and don't go to the store to see if it's empty, that doesn't mean that there's not a supply chain problem. It means you just didn't buy it that day.
You have a master's, right?
Yeah.
What's it in?
Business administration.
Business administration, huh? So supply chains are something you understand, right?
Inventory.
No, I understand. What's that?
So you've heard of on-time inventory then?
Yeah, just in time.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a structural problem.
It's not a problem when
yes,
things are operational.
It is. The hospitals didn't have any masks.
That's like saying my security guard's a great employee as long on days we don't get robbed. Like, what the hell is that supposed to mean?
It means they get delivery when they need it. And then there was a supply chain disruption caused by the pandemic.
A probable, almost certain supply chain disruption. Will there be another pandemic?
Or another anything. Like, at some point, something will happen. It's like building a nuclear power plant on top of a fault and being like, well, there's not an earthquake right now, so this is a good place for this.
It was masks and toilet paper.
Well, masks. I mean,
and
people didn't need toilet
and,
paper.
Lots of stuff.
So now you're saying that everyone needs to have a room in their house, the individual, with 6 months supply of food because you can't count on the normal operation of the food supply chain?
I think
you can't count on the normal operation because the normal operation of the supply chain is psychotic.
I think that
it's very efficient when things are normal.
I don't think you need a room.
When it's not being tested, it passes.
Yeah.
No.
99% of the time.
When there's not a test, I don't get an F. On days with no quizzes, I don't get a 0.
No. If it operates perfectly fine in 99% of the time, you can't say that it's not a good system.
It's a bad
system. Yes, I can.
99% of time efficiency.
First of all.
If you can't handle, if your institution can't handle a crisis, then your institution deserves to fail. Like, end of story. And the hospitals are getting bailed out.
I wouldn't agree with that.
Well, it's true.
Hand sanitizer is not an option, it's now a must-have. But where can you find it? Online at 2020safe.net. The highest quality hand sanitizer that destroys microorganisms and prevents transmission of pathogens. Now available in a 1-liter bottle with a bonus at 2020safe.net. When you order a 1-liter bottle of our high-quality hand sanitizer, you'll receive a 30-count bottle of Immune Booster, a $14.95 value, free by using code GCN at checkout. 2020safe.net offers many natural products to help support health and help you live a more fulfilled life. From germ-zapping hand sanitizer to immune-building nutraceuticals to natural stress, anxiety, and sleep aids, 2020safe.net has what you need in stock today. Just click 2020safe.net. That's 2020safe.net to get our 1-liter bottle of high-quality hand sanitizer with your bonus free 30-count bottle of Immune Booster. Remember to enter GCN at checkout and the bonus is yours free. Go now to 2020safe.net.
Now with orders to stay at home, public health concerns, the reality of illness due to pathogens and viruses, your health is at an all-time high risk. That's why it's critical to take a proactive approach to boost your immune system. You can with new nano-colloidal silver from Americare, our patented process with tiny silver particles, 1/100th the size of a red blood cell, allows for maximum body absorption. Americare's nano-colloidal silver effectively disinfects your body internally, attacking pathogens and viruses while supercharging your immune system. Colloidal silver is antibacterial and antiviral. Simply put, it prohibits bacterial respiration, suffocating viral cells, preventing the virus from replicating. And now, due to public health concern, Americare is authorized to offer our lowest and best price ever, around $1 a day. But supplies are limited. Purchase nano-colloidal silver now at immunesupportnow.com. That's immunesupportnow.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Supplies are limited.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. What if you want to hear the latest episode of Free Talk Live, but all you have is your phone, you forgot to download our archive, and you have no data connection? You can call our Listen line at 641-793-0191. That's a long-distance number, so you may incur charges. If not, listen as long as you want. 641-793-0191. The Free Talk Live Listen line, 641-793-0191.
Is oral health important to you? If you don't like your own teeth, fresh breath, or kissing people, then by all means stop listening. Several years ago, I met Jessica Armand, founder and CEO of My Magic Mud, and I became passionate about the product that she created and never want to live without it. It's clinically proven to whiten teeth, but I find it does much more. They want you to love My Magic Mud as much as I do, so they're giving you a money-back guarantee plus 20% off. Go to mymagicmud.com and use coupon code FTL20 at checkout. mymagicmud.com, FTL20.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live. I just watched a video today from Bitcoin.com where Roger Ver, the CEO of Bitcoin.com, claims that SaveItPurse.com, which Free Talk Live has had a long relationship with, will continue to be open. So I don't know if Bitcoin.com or Bitcoin Cash or somebody got involved and did something to save them, but they were claiming they were going to be closed, and now they're not. So if you have an account at SaveItPurse.com, you should be in good shape. If you don't have an account at SaveItPurse.com, you can go and create one right now, SaveItPurse.com, and the advantage to that is that you can save like 20% on everything that you buy from Amazon. And Richie, you just bought some toilet paper on Amazon, right?
I bought it a while ago, and it got delivered just fine. So I don't,
So you got toilet paper delivered.
I have it. Yeah,
good shape.
Not a problem.
Can't argue with that. But there you go. It's I guess SaveItPurse.com, and thanks to Bitcoin.com for whatever intervention might have occurred there. Let's go to the phones. We got Joe in northern Michigan. Listen to WKHM. Joe, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, I just had a comment to add to what you're talking about. One little aspect there, the face mask. That was a very good comment one of you made about that. They didn't have any. They weren't doing any regular surgeries or anything like that once they shut everything down. But I read on YouTube, which I don't necessarily believe everything I read, but it was a pretty reputable site that said back in the George W. Bush administration, the department that does procuring like that for the government tried to award a contract for 50 million face masks to put in supply for something like this. It didn't happen through that administration. It just got the contract let to a company in California, if I remember everything correct, in the Obama administration, and that contract got released like in December. So this is just one more inept government thing. You can't trust them for things like this because they took 2 administrations to not provide the masks that we desperately needed now, if you believe that we desperately needed them. But
whether we need them or not, why is it the United States federal government's job to supply masks to the hospitals, to the 3 hospitals in Manchester, New Hampshire?
I agree.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's kind of like how the governor of New York was told back 8-10 years ago, whatever it was, that he was going to need 15,000 ventilators, which they ended up not really needing, but they were told they should have them on hand and instead of spending the $500 million, they spent a lot of money on things like trying to start a windmill or light bulb.
Yeah, whatever the heck they're doing over there. Fiddling around.
And those all failed, but in the interim,
they don't have masks and they don't have ventilators.
Yeah.
Thank you for the call, Joe. Thank you for the call. Melanie, I have an answer to that. Why do people trust the government to solve their problems when clearly and obviously the government fails at solving
I wasn't even
problems?
asking why should they trust them. It was like why is that their job? Like, this is not
whose job?
The Fed. This is not the Fed's job.
Clearly, it is not the Fed's job. However, would you agree that government has inserted itself at all levels of our lives and has most of us to the point that basically we presume that they're going to take care of problems?
The average person does.
That might be less true in New Hampshire, but yeah.
And, although I do believe that hospitals should be responsible for keeping masks, I am unsurprised that, normal people, government school educated people believe, who run hospitals, believe that the government is going to have some kind of national supply of masks like it does oil or anything like that. And then presumably when they have need, they'll be able to draw upon that. And
so they were expecting a warehouse full.
Turns out it's not there because, ladies and gentlemen, when you rely on the government, oftentimes you will be disappointed. I mean, look at there are people right now in America that are expecting certain pensions that are not getting their full pension. Well, what happened to them? They were counting on, their in many cases the government pensions to pay in full, and they're not.
So at what point do you just cut the line on that then?
What do you mean?
Well, at some point, someone's going to get hurt when that happens.
Yep.
Right. Like Social Security is the other big one. Like, what happens when we run out of Social Security? This generation's not going to get it. Well, we can't stop the Social Security Administration now because there's people that count on that. So someone's going to get hurt, either them or the next generation or the current generation. At what point do you say, like, it's a failed system? So sorry that you counted on it. There's not going to be any for you. You're the one's going to take
my answer. For a while, I've always had this: if you can't just dissolve the whole thing, which doesn't seem to be on the table, you have this phasing out. It's like, okay, you announce to people like, all right, 40 years old and younger, you're not going to see this, so maybe make some life plans.
That's Social Security.
Yeah. 50 to...
But pay into it because you got to supply the current generation.
That doesn't even make any sense because I would if I could agree to this, I would be like, okay, fine, I'll continue to pay the 7 or 14% in my case. I'll continue to pay the 14% if you just quit this stupidity. But it's not an entity, it's a program. Like saying Social Security is insolvent is like saying my light bill is insolvent. It doesn't mean anything. I can be insolvent. But it's not like, oh, well, I don't have any light bill money.
We can get to Social Security here shortly. Let's go to the callers. We got the professor calling from WNIS in Virginia. Professor, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, this is the professor. But first of all, I have 2 or 3 items to discuss. First of all, I'd like to say that mankind can go about their imaginations and go to and fro. But what is happening here with this, all is happening in the earth, is the Bible is fulfilling. The Bible will be fulfilled.
What kind of professor are you? Like
I'm
divinity?
I'm a professor. I profess God.
Okay.
I profess God.
Okay.
So then the second point I want to make is
that
concerning these masks, they had an item in the news earlier that a person crashed into a telephone pole and the officer said that he lacked oxygen from having a mask on his face.
So the source for that is Infowars.com, by the way.
Yeah,
I seen that article.
Okay.
Absolute horse crap.
Yes, sir. Okay, and then here's the third thing. I'm really mystified about all America is a country known for litigation and lawyers. Why are the lawyers so silent about all this intrusion into our rights? I don't know what lawyer jump up and say anything. What is going on here? So there's something wrong with that picture.
There are lawyers fighting this, though.
Thank you for the call, Prof. Appreciate it. There are, I think it will be some very interesting lawsuits that come out of this. But again, I do not think, and I'm using the I'm using Prohibition and 9/11 as my proofs for my thesis. I do not think we will have the same amount of rights when we walk out as we do when we walked in.
Can you file a class action lawsuit against your state in this case?
Probably not. But
you would
could
have to have
file-
standing.
You could
Well, you've been
file an
economically
individual
harmed.
suit. I don't know that they've waived immunity for class action suits. I haven't looked into it either.
Okay. How would you? Okay, so I'm generally curious. How would you file an individual suit for economic harm against the state if your business got shut down?
Well, you wouldn't
because
be
of
able to
this?
file a suit for economic harm. You'd have to file a suit for civil rights violations.
Okay.
And you would have to file an attorney who hire an attorney who specializes in 1983 or 1984 cases.
Let's go to Mike calling in from Virginia Beach. Mike, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello, yes, this is Mike. I would just like to say, if the last caller is a professor, I'd like to introduce myself as the President of the United States.
I am Intergalactic Space King. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, I don't know if y'all have heard of the updated statistics for coronavirus.
They keep coming. I don't know if I believe any of them, but go ahead.
Well, this one was done by a group of doctors that were based in California. They're all viral specialists. And the important part of this study is that, as we all know, the models that they had projected were ridiculous. They were way off.
Right. You got to spit it out here, President. I've got just a little bit of time left.
The new statistics show, based on the actual numbers and the actual facts, that the possibility of someone dying from the coronavirus is 0.00303%.
Geez, that's a lot lower than what I've seen, but
About what they always said.
I would like to see some numbers like that, but I've always seen 0.1. Nonetheless, which just makes it as deadly as the flu. Thank you for the call, Mike. I do appreciate it. Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had gotten involved sooner? Well, now's your chance to be part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream, for everyone to use it in everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that's as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more, and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,729, silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,519. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals. High-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, David Beasley, director of the United Nations World Food Program, told the UN Security Council this week that the world is on the brink of a hunger pandemic, and we could be facing, quote, multiple famines of biblical proportions within a short few months, end quote. Beasley warned that the world is facing a perfect storm due to the pandemic, economic crisis, locust swarms, and numerous wars that are still ongoing across the planet. The Mind Unleashed reports that according to the 2020 Global Report on Food Crisis, which was published this week, an additional 135 million people will be facing starvation by the end of the year. Beasley said that places like Haiti, Nepal, and Somalia, where a large number of families depend on income from overseas workers, will be hit especially hard. He urged world leaders to set aside their differences and slow down their military adventures to meet the current challenge. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. In the wake of the ongoing COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, premium supermarket chain Whole Foods has redesigned its uniform, giving employees shirts that designate them as heroes and hardcore. The revamp is one of many actions large corporations across the world have taken to symbolically thank their workers amidst the global crisis. Minpress News reports that the move has not been appreciated by many of Whole Foods' 91,000 staff who work in 500 stores across North America, especially as the retail behemoth has failed to provide staff with adequate wages or protective equipment, endangering their lives. A new petition, set up by activists, alleges that workers have to clean the store without protection or training and are unable to regularly wash their hands. Megan Murray, a Whole Foods store worker in Philadelphia, writes that many of the precautionary procedures put in place are laughably poor. Two Texas police officers went undercover in an elaborate sting operation to catch citizens giving salon services for money in their own home. The cops posed as regular citizens needing to get a manicure. Tipsters pointed police to a woman who was advertising manicure services on social media. Activist Post reports that Laredo police arrested Ana Isabel Castro Garcia at the 1200 block of Harding Street after she allegedly agreed to provide an undercover officer with a manicure. The 31-year-old Castro Garcia was arrested and charged with violation of Emergency Management Plan CB and was taken to the Webb County Jail, where she was offered a $500 bond. In a separate and unrelated case, 20-year-old Brenda Stephanie Matta was arrested at the 1100 block of Hubner Street after she allegedly offered to do an undercover cop's lashes. Just like Castro Garcia, she was charged with violation of Emergency Management Plan CB and was also taken to the Webb County Jail for booking. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Hours spent volunteering at a local homeless shelter truly make her death at the hands of a drunk driver earlier this week all the harder to take for this school and this community.
I never knew Amanda, but everywhere I went there were touching reminders
of the caring friend she would have been to me had I known her. Losing Amanda was one of the hardest things I've ever had to deal with, but I knew I had to be strong for this community. I couldn't let them go through the funeral without my support.
She's so much better than all of us. She was so much good. She cared about so many people. She loved you so much. What's your name? She loved you, Russell.
And we have O'Brady Shaw with us right now.
Thanks, Brooke.
Not quite how I would have reported the story. Seems a bit unprofessional to let yourself get so emotional.
Well, when people are feeling pain, I feel it too. Don't you ever get emotionally invested in a story?
No, I don't. You know, I had my tear ducts cauterized years ago, and I like to keep my emotions stored in a special place in my mind where they only come out for my night terrors.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Free Talk Live. Kicking off another hour of Free Talk Live. The final hour. And you can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about because it's Free Talk Live and you're free to call in and talk live right here on the airwaves. We are live 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 days a week. Somebody is in here doing Free Talk Live. Now, it's not always me in the first chair. My name is Mark.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
It's because it's Sunday. Y'all are in, and you're the Sunday crew. And have been for some time, right? Like, Melanie, you took a little time off to have a baby. How is little Lysander?
He is great. He's standing up. He can't get back down from standing up. So then he just screams, and we have to put him down. He can say dad.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able to kiss butt to the parents. They're the ones who take care of you. Yeah. I was a big day when Jack could say mama the first time. So.
Well, he can't say mom. I'm always there, so he doesn't have to ask for me.
Right.
Mom's always gone, so he has to ask for him. So he learned how to do that.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I mean, those are the first three words that my son learned, which was mama, dada, and honey. And that's the dog.
Oh, okay. Like, interesting. Who's he got a date with all of a sudden?
Yep, that was his word.
He can kind of say I'm not sure if that's real or if I'm imagining that, but like I feel like he could say
Yeah.
That's
exciting times. Things change very quickly at that time frame. How old is he?
Almost 8 months. He'll be 8 months in a couple of days.
All right. So apparently, I don't even know why, but what you've told me, Richie Rich, is that Russia is selling citizenship.
Sure. That's one way to say it. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Putin signs law allowing foreigners to become Russian without giving up existing citizenship.
Okay. Now that's important. The United States will tell you that you have to give up foreign citizenships, but they really don't enforce it.
Okay.
They really kind of can't, because if the UK is like, I still consider you UK, the US can't. I mean, they can, but can they really be? Well, I decide what the UK thinks. Like,
So we'll get into it, but that's one of the questions I had. Like, if I become a Russian, am I stuck being a Russian too? Like, will
and
they
then
let
if
me
you
out?
vote, then you'll be a Russian influencing the US election.
There you go. And I don't vote, so it won't even matter. Just weeks after being introduced to Parliament, a new law simplifying the naturalization process has been signed by the president of Russia. On Friday, President Vladimir Putin put pen to paper to revolutionize the country's citizenship laws. From July onward, foreigners living in Russia will be able to become citizens of the country without giving up their existing passport. Although rumors,
and this seems to be a thing, is having two passports. And people really want to have more than one passport.
Right, because there's certain places that you're not allowed to go with the United States passport, and if you want to go there...
Well, hold on. So when you say not allowed to go, what do you mean?
That if you have the existing passport, they don't let you travel there.
Well, you need to get a visa to go there. And in many cases, visas are as simple as writing on a website saying, I want to go. So China, for instance, people say there's not visa-free travel to China. Well, there kind of is.
Okay.
You know, I mean, it's not visa-free, but there's travel to China. I mean, as I understood it, now, I didn't have the opportunity to do this because my train ticket didn't work this way. But I went to the stop before China in Hong Kong.
Right.
And I basically, as I understand it, all you had to do was walk up there, slap down some money for a travel visa, and I could have gone in.
Okay.
Now, I couldn't go in because of my train ticket. I couldn't get past the little thing, but they said that's what they said at the information booth, that all you have to do is go in there and do that. And so I could have bought a ticket right there to walk through the little turnstiles to go check it out, but it's like, it's going to be late afternoon. I'm cheap. I don't want to do it.
So if your country has travel restrictions to another country that you would like to go, having the secondary passport that allows you to travel to the country you wish to go, free and clear, is beneficial.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
It's also always good to have a backup country.
I don't know if Russia's it, though.
I mean, but if that's all you can get.
Although rumors of change have been floating around for months, the law was rapidly adopted in April, with the legislation being introduced, voted on, and signed within the space of just 17 days.
That's pretty fast.
Right.
So that sounds like COVID-19 legislation there.
Could have been.
We need to generate some income.
In February, daily newspaper Kommersant reported that the procedure for accepting foreigners for citizenship of the Russian Federation will be significantly simplified, with the aim of attracting up to 10 million new citizens. Before its introduction to Parliament, Russian MP Konstantin Zatulin called the idea correct, long overdue, and consistent with common sense, noting that the new legislation will allow a diaspora born abroad to more easily obtain Russian citizenship. The legislation also eases up the requirements for people with a Russian spouse. For example, if a foreigner is married to a Russian and they have children together, the necessity of a 5-year residency is reduced to 3, and the need to prove a legal source of income has been scrapped. Citizens of Moldova, Ukraine, Belarus, and Kazakhstan have had the process to Russian citizenship made even more relaxed, with the entire residence requirement being altogether removed.
So they just have to go up and say, I want to be a citizen.
Absolutely. Seems that way according to the article, which Russia Today is the source, RT.com. So take that, with whatever grain of salt.
Probably true. I mean, in that circumstance. What do you think the advantage to this might be? I mean, I think it's interesting.
That's the thing. I don't know what the advantage would be to me or a United States citizen, unless unless you have a connection to Russia, or you're trying to get out or trying to get there for whatever reason you have.
Or if you catch a warrant in the U.S., you might want to get on a plane.
Oh, God.
You could.
Perhaps.
Yeah. I mean, it is a backup country. It's not the best one, but...
Yeah, I don't think...
And it's not just for U.S. citizens. So if Russia might be better than wherever you are.
And I would think that if you were stacking up, clearly most of the people listening to me have a U.S. passport or are eligible for one, right? And I would think that the Russian passport would be a nice complement to that passport. Presumably the places that you need a visa to get into with a U.S. passport, you could get into without one with a Russian passport. Right. I don't know the answer to that question, but apparently they've just made getting a Russian passport and citizenship quite a bit easier.
Maybe you want to go to some place that the U.S. is messing with and you don't want to flash your U.S. passport on the way in.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of Americans that go abroad and claim to be Canadian. I mean,
yeah.
But at the border, you have to show your U.S. passport, and then you tell everyone you're Canadian.
Right. I'm from really close in Canada. There was a mistake. Now, I've never done that. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I am not my government, and anybody simple enough to believe that somehow I am responsible for what happens in Washington, D.C. doesn't understand our country, and frankly doesn't understand theirs. The question that I would ask them is oh yeah? Well, what kind of power do you have over Kuala Lumpur or whatever? And when they're like, none, I'm like, that's the kind of power I have over Washington, D.C.
But you get to vote.
So what?
You get to exercise your rights and power.
I can vote, but my vote has been meaningless for president, at the very least, every time I voted. There hasn't been a single time that the presidency has been decided by the state I was in and my one single vote in that state. So, the outcomes were always going to be exactly the same as they were, even though I voted or didn't vote, depending on the election that had occurred. Fair. Because there's been elections, and I voted in some and not voted in others. This is the reason that I say the voting is inconsequential, because it's inconsequential, at least in the presidency. So, what does it appear that one has to do if, for say, an American to become a Russian citizen? Not that I'm going to do this.
Either have a Russian spouse,
I don't,
or you have to be living in Russia.
Okay.
So it's easier to get one, but it's still specific.
How long do I have to live in Russia?
I think it said the requirement. Well, the Marriage requirement was down from 5-year residency to 3. I don't think it said anything about how long you have to be there specifically as an individual.
So I have to marry one of their Russian women?
That's one way, but it just said the requirements have been lessened.
I see.
Give me a second. I'll try to find what it exactly says.
I always am brought back to the gal from Fifth Element. There was this military gal who came in to try to get the main character, whose name I don't remember, Corbin.
Corbin Dallas, Multipass.
Yeah, Multipass. He trying to get him to go on this mission, right? She was a tough broad, that gal. Yeah. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE here on Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
So now I've got this pack of 4 Shar-Pei rescue dogs for, oh my goodness, probably 5-6 years. They get a regular diet of Dinovite with every meal.
DINOVITE.com.
People remark on what beautiful coats they've got. I tell them, you don't need to wait until a problem presents itself. It's far better to keep the dog happy and healthy at all times.
You won't believe how happy your dog will be.
I get my Dinovite from DINOVITE.com.
Got shaving irritation? Shave Secret shaving oil can help stop it. Shave Secret doesn't cost much and is an all-American product. My name is Chuck Howard, and I developed Shave Secret and pioneered its use starting back in 1991. Ingrown hairs drove me nuts for years. Shaving oil changed all that. Why put up with ingrown hair, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts? Shave Secret provides men and women with what we believe is the best shave ever. Our proprietary blend of 100% natural base and essential oils, plus a hint of menthol, was designed to help eliminate shaving irritations like ingrown hairs, bumps, red rash, nicks, and cuts. We'll lose those shaving irritations. Available at Super Walmart, H-E-B, Wegmans, Giant Eagle, Discount Drug, Navy and Marine Exchanges, Amazon, and ShaveSecret.com. Use the code FTL for Free Talk Live and get a discount. Shave Secret, the best shave ever.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealestate.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. It's free as in freedom here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
And that number in this whole show is basically brought to you by the amplifiers. People who have decided that they're willing to give, well, different amounts. We ask for $5 a month to support Free Talk Live and our mission to bring the power to speak freely on the airwaves. And a group of people willing to take the position of freedom in American radio, where people just aren't doing that. So, people like Loring here. I actually know his last name. I was about to say it, but what our policy is that we only say what you enter into the amplifier program as your name. So, thank you to Loring, who is a platinum amplifier.
Nice.
That's one of the big ones at $25 a month. So thank you, Loring, and thank you all amplifiers. Again, we only ask for $5, but good folks like Loring keep us going. So we were apparently not only talking about Corona and the threat that China exists to the United States and its position in the world, and Russian citizenship is apparently a lot easier now, but Trump is threatening the post office if they don't do as he wishes. And, I got to say, this is one of the things that kind of bugged me about the whole Trump becoming president. Admittedly, I like that Neil Gorsuch, and to some extent Brett Kavanaugh, not the best, but to some extent Brett Kavanaugh, were appointed by Donald Trump, but that's mostly where my favor tends to end. I mean, the guy is amusing. He doesn't seem to want to fight too much. I like that. But yeah, that's it. So what's he trying to get the post office to do?
Bizarrely, he's withholding funds from the post office unless they charge Amazon more for shipping.
Why is that bizarre?
Because that's a weird reason to withhold funds.
No, it's not.
You're like punishing one company.
If I have a kid and they're like, they have my car and they're like selling rides for less than what the gas costs, I might be like, okay, you stop it.
But it's not across the board. Charge more. It's one. It's like charge that one kid more, right, for the ride. Like Susie can ride for the same price.
Because you're giving that one kid a deal, probably.
Tommy
Amazon
has to pay
deals
more.
with the post office. Though.
Let's go ahead. Let's hear the article.
President Donald Trump said Friday that he won't approve a $10 billion loan for the U.S. Postal Service unless the agency raises charges for Amazon and other big shippers to 4 or 5 times
and
the
other
current
big
rate.
shippers.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Well, so I have a problem with the post office as it exists currently. It is an ad venue, right? I mean, most of the things that I get from the post office are crap that I didn't ask for.
Since the lockdown, I haven't been getting junk mail, and so I don't know if the mail came yet or not.
But could you not avoid that by not putting up a mailbox?
Well, I could tear down the mailbox in the house that I bought, if that's what you're asking me.
Sure.
And that would prevent some mail. But I mean, I need some of the mail to be delivered.
Okay.
I need to know about my oil, my heating oil, and I need to know about electricity and things like that.
So when I made the move to New Hampshire, I did not officially update the post office with my new mailing address. Right. The mail that I wanted to get, I told those companies, hey, you should probably send your stuff here now.
Yep.
And then that's it. So the only junk mail that I get is the regular stuff addressed to like current resident or person at this address.
Well, yeah, I don't get junk mail like to me personally. I just get like junk mail.
So I could buy a mailbox someplace, and I have one actually.
Okay.
And I could have the letters I want sent there, but I'm trying to keep a level of anonymity. There has never been a letter go to the house that I'm at this moment that has my name on it.
Okay.
Not once. So there's been letters to other people's names, and in some cases I've opened those letters because they're actually to me or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I still get the resident and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So Yeah.
But if you didn't have a mailbox, like if I didn't have the mailbox at my
I
apartment.
lived for 15 years without a mailbox. I'm familiar with that process. And what it meant that I had to pay for a private mailbox, and I did that. But, I mean, it's
not worth it.
I think that, it has its ups and downs. It's not like it's going to solve the problem. People still want to know where you live. And I'll tell you what, they will not do business with you if you do not tell them where you live. So you either have to be prepared to tell them something else, or you be prepared to give them your, the residence where you live.
Okay.
So, if you're prepared to tell them something else, then that's fine. But I wasn't prepared to tell them that. What I was prepared to tell them is I'm not prepared to tell you that. And that just shuts down all the conversation. And it makes them immediately more suspicious. And it used to be that you could give a private mailbox, like Free Talk Live's mailbox is 63 Emerald Street here in Keene, New Hampshire. If you go there and you attempt to communicate with Free Talk Live, as people have, you're going to be sorely disappointed. You're going to be looking in between the shipping shack and the CPA's office for where we are. And we're not there because we're in the shipping shack in a little hole that's about 6 inches by 6 inches where letters come. And, people have tried. I mean, multiple times. I mean, not just one person.
Hey, we're at the studio.
How would you know that? Like, unless somebody called you and admitted to that, how would you know that?
Well, that's how.
We tried to come by to Free Talk Live, and it's just a mailbox.
And the people at the shipping shack are like, somebody was by to find you today. So there's the two ways that I found out.
They walked into a place called Shipping Shack.
Right. So if a half a dozen people have gone to the shipping shack looking for me in either I've found it in a variety of ways, how many people have gone, and we know it, how many people have gone and said, oh my God, this is a shipping shack. And
that would be the intelligent thing to do and then just leave.
Right. So how many people have done that? And my presumption is multiples beyond, the ones that we've been reported on.
Or stake out the shipping shack covertly and follow Mark back to wherever it is he ends up after going to shipping shack.
The news for them, I never go.
Well, whomever. The Postal Service is a joke because they're handing out packages for Amazon and other internet companies, and every time they bring a package, they lose money on it, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office. The president was responding to a question about reports his administration plans to force major changes in postal operations as the price for approving a $10 billion loan that was included in the government's $2 trillion economic rescue package.
I would, if I was, the president, I'd ring up Jeff Bezos, whom he is enemies with. I'd say, hey, how can we make this organization more efficient? Or I'd bring up FedEx or UPS or something. Like, they have the nuts and bolts of a really great shipping company, and somehow they managed to keep on messing it up. And to some extent, the United States government requires the post office to do ridiculous things. It makes it difficult for them to compete. But at the same time, they've got a monopoly on first-class mail.
Which is way too cheap,
right,
as it is.
Right now, the president could be doing his evening-long song and dance that says, write Grandma a letter, right? And get the kids of America to write Grandma a letter.
They were trying to get people to buy stamps, first the forever stamps, in advance.
They were trying to get people? I thought people were doing that on their own.
Well, they're basically a currency. Yeah. But yes, they were trying to get people to buy ahead. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE as in Free Talk Live.
That is
the next generation wallet is coming from Divvy. In just a few taps, you'll be able to send, earn, spend, and exchange digital money in seconds. Send money around the globe with only a swipe. Instantly exchange between Divvy, Bitcoin, and fiat right in the mobile app and withdraw directly to your bank account. Divvy already offers the first one-tap solution for earning passive income with crypto. Multi-tiered masternodes allow everyone to partake in the network. Visit DivvyProject.org. DivvyProject.org.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at Bitcoin.com. That's Bitcoin.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. Looks like we got quite a few people lined up here on Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
Oh, let's jump right in. I'm going to try, on the AMP-only call-in line on Discord, I'm going to try Horn Solo. I'm taking a bit of a chance here because I don't know. I didn't test this microphone with him. I tested the last one. Horn, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hi, can you hear me okay now?
I gotcha.
Beautiful.
Okay. Yeah, this is a studio mic. The other was a crappy headset, so this should sound better. Okay, so what I wanted to do is just discuss a little bit the difference in numbers between coronavirus and influenza.
Okay.
So you've referred to the, 0.1% that's the case rate fatality for the flu.
Yep.
So, and what we're seeing now with the serological surveys for coronavirus is the number is looking like 0.5, I think.
I've heard that number too.
California. Yeah. But one thing to realize, there's two numbers that we're dealing with here. The CFR, which is the 0.1%, is the case fatality rate.
Okay.
The number that we're going to be getting with these serological surveys for the corona, the IFR, which is the infection fatality rate.
Okay.
So the number, I'm not an epidemiologist, or anything like that, but the number that I understand that is the infectious fatality rate for the is actually 0.04% or somewhere. So
that's for corona.
That's
or
for influenza.
Influenza.
Yes. Yeah, so,
well, one of the problems with influenza is that they guess the number of people who had it.
Yeah, I didn't go to the doctor that year I had the flu. I was just like, I hope I don't die. I'm staying home.
Right. So they guess the number of people who had it, and they guess the number of people who have died. So, in many cases, they don't even know what the person died of. They're just saying the flu. And that makes things very difficult when saying how good or bad the flu is.
But either way, 0.5, I'll roll those dice any day.
And really, those numbers aren't 0.5 for you. Those are across the spectrum of human beings, and everybody has their, the things that make them more or less likely to catch. Because apparently a lot of people, because they just had a study that came out of L.A. where they just went around the streets of L.A. and gave people tests, and 22 to 55 times the number of people, this projection from the study, have corona as what they thought in Los Angeles. And now, admittedly, that's not it's not the single best way to test, but 22 to 55 times the number of people having it drives the death rate way down.
Right, and that's why it's looking like it's more like 0.5 versus the 3% or whatever the initial World Health.
Well, that's what they started with China.
Number.
And World Health Organization or China, but you repeat yourself. Yeah. So one of the reasons I believe we had this total lockdown is because China said this disease kills 3 to 5% of the people who catch it. And that's a pretty scary number. And that's getting into the threshold where you're like, well, maybe we should do a lockdown. Turns out
if you know
we did a lockdown and we didn't have any numbers anywhere near that because the Chinese were lying, because the Chinese lie.
Even if that number was accurate, you still don't need the lockdown. You just go like, you know what? For 3 to 5%, I'm not going to go out anymore. Sorry, I'm calling in COVID to work. I'm
calling in COVID. Yes, that's absolutely something that somebody could do. Yeah. I've got so many people on the line. Horn, do you have anything else?
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say, because of those numbers, there is a difference between flu, what you're stating for flu, and coronavirus. And if we need
the difference is we know a little more about the flu than we do about corona at this point.
But my understanding from what you said just now is 0.5 is the highest fatality rate that anybody is reporting. Is that correct?
That's with the antibody tests, which more truthful, more of an idea of what's actually happening versus active testing that they're doing. But still, it's 0.5 versus the flu, which is 0.04 if you're going for the same number.
The numbers I've seen for the flu are 0.1.
Right, that's the CFR. The IFR is estimate. That's people who.
Well, you can't compare the IFR to the CFR and then come up with fair numbers. I mean, we have to go apples to apples, and we don't have apples for one at this point. I think it's very preliminary to come up with it, but I do agree with you that corona is possibly more dangerous than the flu. But if it was a bad case of the flu, then the flu numbers go up. Well, how is it compared to the flu of 1918?
Right. I mean, that was bad. But what I was going to say is, if you need 60% for herd immunity, and the IFR is 0.5, then you're still going to look at 1 million people to make that happen.
In the United States or worldwide?
In the United States.
Okay.
As long as we all know that's what we're
I don't think it's going to be 0.5, frankly. I mean, I really don't.
Yeah, that might be the case. But right now, that's what it is.
Yep.
So
and I'm sorry to say this, thank you for the call, Horn. If America, I mean, how many people were going to die in America in 2020 anyway? And I believe the number was 800,000.
Okay.
Well, if Corona takes out 800,000 people who are going to die anyway, and then another 200,000, well, numbers aren't that, like, okay.
I'm with you. To me, it's like insignificant.
800,000 people are going to die.
People aren't going to not die of other causes because we have corona.
I think that might be that might not be necessarily true. So if you've got there's say you're going to die of diabetes, or you're going to die of cancer.
Corona is hitting nursing homes pretty hard.
Right.
People who are like already on hospice
so those
care.
are the people who are okay. So there is overlap there.
Right.
let's go to the phones. Who's been on here the longest? Pat in Michigan. WTKG. You're on Free Talk Live.
Good evening, gentlemen. Can you hear me all right?
Yep.
Got the radio
Melody's
down
here, too.
low enough?
Yep.
All right. Melanie, good evening to you too, my dear.
Hey.
I have many marbles rolling on my roulette wheel right now.
Pick one.
We got the drones that I guess 21 states have bought from China, and they're going to be probably reporting their intelligence back to the Chi-Coms.
That could
because
never
that's where
happen.
the brains are from.
That could never happen.
New Jersey's already bragging on them. I heard from the governor himself.
Clearly,
But,
the United States government has already been guilty of having modem companies run their routers and modems through, certain processes so that they have a back door to millions of modems.
There was the whole Huawei
We're
scandal.
We've been prostituting ourselves for generations here.
And so if
But,
the presumption that China won't do it is obviously naive.
Yeah, exactly. The enemy of my enemy is not my friend.
No.
So
the enemies
ban
of God.
all Chinese imports of all Chinese goods then.
I wouldn't say that, but
All
I would
right.
say that you probably shouldn't have your law enforcement agencies buying their drones directly from China. Just guessing.
Yeah, that's really
Would
silly.
Would you permit me another thought?
Yeah, go right ahead.
You're going to have it anyway.
Back in, I believe it was the end of February, there was a sulfur plume that came from China around the Wuhan province, and
All right.
it just was so big it could be seen from space.
All right, I'll take your word for it. I don't know nothing of this sulfur plume.
Well, the thing is this was caused by body burning. This is the only way that much sulfur oxide could be put into one place at one time.
All those Hong Kong
and
protesters.
shortly after that, there was 200. But no, I think I don't want to exaggerate the number. I'm trying to be accurate here. I think it was 20 million. It might have been 200 million cell phone users that were suddenly unavailable for service.
I don't know. I wouldn't be the one to. But I was not too far from there at that time. I was, I was a. If you could see it from space, I should have been able to see something of this cloud at that time. I was over in the Commonwealth of Northern Mariana Islands. I didn't notice it, but I'd be interested in checking out. Thank you for the call, Pat. The number, 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE, as in freedom, here on Free Talk Live.
Join me, George Norrie, in Indian Wells, California, May 29th to June 1st for the Contact in the Desert UFO Conference, an epic weekend of exploration into UFOs, ancient civilizations, crop circles, and so much more. Over 150 lectures, panels, workshops, and events with leading experts: Paul Hellyer, Linda Moulton Howe, Nick Pope, Emery Smith, Stephen Greer, Russell Targ, Doc Wallach, Leslie Kane, and more. Get your tickets at contactinthedesert.com. It's time to make contact. Contactinthedesert.com.
You know what's really smart?
Wash your hands frequently, practice social distancing, and stay home if told to do so.
You know what's really dumb?
To ignore your immune system.
Right now, more than ever, your health depends on a strong immune system.
The experts at Immunocorp will give you their 7-step guide to immunity for life, free.
Why? Because we want you to be smart and healthy.
Simply call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com.
Immunocorp has been producing the world's leading immune system products for more than 2 decades.
To get your free 7-step guide to immunity for life, call 800-446-3063. 800-446-3063.
Be smart. Don't ignore your immune system. Your life depends on it.
Call 800-446-3063 or click immunityforlife.com. Immunityforlife.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. Call in, talk about whatever's on your mind. It's a final segment. I guess that's just sort of generally the branding of the show, right? Like, that's what we do here at Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Richie Rich.
And Melanie.
Let's go right to the phones. We got Robert calling in from Virginia Beach. Listening on WNIS. Robert, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, hello. How y'all doing today?
All's well.
Good, good. I meant to call about I was listening to your voting and communism and being a Russian and whatnot, and that was subpar of my conversation. I do apologize. But I did. It seems like the coronavirus is a.
Did you call in earlier this evening? I'm sorry.
No, I had not. No,
okay.
I had not.
Okay. Go
I
ahead.
just started listening on the way home. I do listen to WNIS.
Okay.
On a regular basis.
Awesome. Big old station.
But yes. But I would like to point a couple there's a lot of misconceptions out there, and I really it's not a health issue. I don't think as much as it is a political issue, and I'll state why. Of course, the governors and the mandates or guidelines of what can be opened and what cannot be opened. I find it kind of interesting how food places, particularly Targets, your Walmarts, this in nature, they can be open.
Right.
People come in, they go into shopping, and Walmarts, supermarkets are very large, and we can all walk around and do our shopping, but we can't have clothing stores open. We can't have the malls open. We can't have movie theaters open. Well, there's just as many people. It's nothing to do with our health and safety.
But now, Walmart can sell
everything
clothes.
Would be shut down. Everything would be shut down. But
Of course.
It's not.
Yeah, it's clearly. I don't know what it is.
Health and safety.
I think it's just
It
a
has to do with
charade.
Political control.
Yeah.
It has to do with our political control. The governors love this socialistic control of our economy, and it's ruining this country. It's ruining our state, and that's the problem. It has nothing to do with our health. The statistics that you're talking about of the percentages of people dying, whatever the 0.5 or even the 8 to 5%, get it. I'd rather die on 95% people that are not getting it and
Like,
are living.
I'm more likely to die in the car on the way to get a haircut than I am to die from corona from getting a haircut.
Thank you. And on top of that, it's our life. It's our freedom, our liberty. Now, if we're all going to die someday, it's not our control. So live our lives, live our country, and open it up again. And if hospitals are there, people are there. If you get sick, you go to the hospital. That's how it works. Now, if you die, it's unfortunate. I'm not all for people dying.
It's unfortunate, but it's going to happen. Like, there's two facts here.
Why do you hate old people?
But it's not
Because they messed everything up. Because they should have had savings and be retired and isolate those or quarantine themselves, and they could just order in. But they decided not to do that.
And if they didn't, they died. That's fine. I mean, whatever. If you're sick, don't go out in public for one. Two, if you are sick, go to the hospital, get treated. Okay? Don't shut everything down because people can't make up their minds and can't do things right. All right, that's number one. It's nothing to do with our health. It's about political control, and that's what people are sick and tired of. They want to live in liberty. They want to live in the country of their right to live and work and breathe and be that way. This is not Venezuela. This isn't Russia. We have liberty.
But some people want the liberty.
Soon it's going to be China.
Some people want the liberty to keep people at home, and that's really
not a liberty.
That's not a liberty.
No, it's
that's
not.
an infringement.
That's not. That's
I don't know if it's socialism. It's
freedom.
authoritarianism. I mean,
well, okay, same thing. It's all the same line of government control.
It all comes together.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. So don't give me this line that we're care. Our governor, especially, is a doctor, blackface, Northam. We care about the health and welfare of our citizens. Excuse me. Your job is not to care about my welfare. Your job is to run a state and the services that it provides for us people. Don't care about my health and welfare because you never cared about it before.
You know what's I'm sure you're not familiar with the New Hampshire governor because you don't live in New Hampshire, but Governor Christopher Sununu in New Hampshire, his explicitly stated reason for not lifting the restrictions is because he doesn't want people coming from mass. Now, this is the same individual who signed the consent decree to have people imported from Somalia as refugees into New Hampshire. So that's okay, but we will just all die if people come from mass to New Hampshire. So, that's
so Massachusetts is what you mean.
Yeah, because I can't
Catholics.
pronounce that, so I just call it the mass. Yeah, so that's a completely inconsistent position, but that's what he's trying to sell.
Well, it's no surprise, Robert. Thank you for
what's
the call.
the infection rate in Somalia? Maybe it's safe to come from.
I don't know. They don't have anything there because it's Somalia.
If the concern is about disease, though,
you don't want to be importing people from the third world.
Is it this disease that it's bad to die from? I mean, I didn't. Before that, if you're going to let people come en masse. Now, look, I'm no advocate of government's borders or anything like that. However, I mean, Melanie's pointing out an inconsistency.
Sure.
And if he signs an order that allows a bunch of folks,
and it's not allowed because
this
isn't an open borders issue. You're going and getting them and bringing here. That's entirely different.
Yeah. Understood, but I'm just saying if it's a health concern and the people coming from Somalia are less of a health risk for COVID-19 than people coming over from Massachusetts.
Generally.
Okay.
So if you're concerned about health, you're not going to be like, let's go over to the third world.
Yeah, I'm not sure that your analogy on Free Talk Live is particularly useful because you're immediately dinging all the libertarians who are pro-immigration and going bing, 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 bing. It's like, what?
Immigration and importation are two different things as well.
Let's just stick with it's not the governor's job to decide whether or not people can go outside. And frankly, they haven't done a very good job. There's lockdowns in New York City. They're having terrible problems there. This is a politician's dream.
Is it the federal
Cuomo has been
job?
on the TV every day.
Is it the federal government's job as part of the general welfare clause?
Well, I don't know. I think one can make the argument that a state, whatever that might be, can lock down in order to prevent a pandemic. But I think we've had the test, and they're bad at it. Sweden, who decided not to do the test, appears to have come out better. I mean, we can all decide how the next pandemic goes, right? Like, you have to figure it out for yourself. What do you think it's going to be like? But right now, Americans are really to kill each other over this "we're stuck inside" thing. It ain't going to be pretty if these politicians continue to do this. At some point or another, people are going to their state houses armed to the teeth.
Well, what if it's a cried wolf scenario when the real pandemic comes and people go like, well, they botched the last one. We're not going to follow the orders.
That is something I've considered. Like, if there actually was a highly deadly disease that was going around, we would have no way of knowing that because there's no credible entity that can tell us.
That's true. And you gotta take the risk for yourself as an individual.
This is the problem, is that the state gets the authority, and they're the ones that are least responsible. And that always goes badly. I don't know. Let's go to David, calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, listening to you on KENN.
Four Corners.
Farmington, New Mexico. Yeah, home of the car dealership that does not honor its commitments. Do not buy from them.
They do have car dealerships where you are.
That's right.
But it's the one that doesn't honor their commitments.
Yeah, that's what I said, car dealerships.
Yeah. That's right. That would be all of them. But anyway, so do not buy from them. But there's going to be a shootout on the streets of Grants, New Mexico tomorrow because the mayor is in a fight with, high noon, and at the Okie Dokie Corral. And because the mayor, Little Miss Stompy Feet, Michelle Wuhan Grisham, is in a pissing match with the mayor of Grant. Oh, and there's video. You need to search online for Mayor Martin Hicks, Grants, New Mexico, where he talks about how the governor is killing us. What's she going to do? Put us in jail? She's already killing us. So there's cool video, and it was the story was picked up by U.S. News and by the Washington Times. But so the mayor has lifted his not work order in the town of Grants. He's bringing his 80 government employees back to work, and he's supporting all of the businesses.
So is it the governor's
one of them.
order that the mayor is lifting, or the mayor had his own order?
Well, they generally, the governor issued theirs, and then the counties and the municipalities also issued their orders. Also,
the mayor won't
and the
be
mayor
enforcing the governor's orders. Yeah.
Right. Well, he's not only not enforcing it, he's counteracting. He's saying everybody go back to work. He's bringing in all of his employees for the city, and there's 81 businesses that signed a petition that they intend to open up tomorrow morning. And so this has got the sheriff and the town police, obviously, but the sheriff is supporting it. Say they're not going to enforce anything against these businesses that open. But Mike Johnson, I believe it is, the chief of the New Mexico State Police, he's at the beck and call of Governor Stompy Feet, and he is intending to cite all of them. So it should be a showdown in Grants, New Mexico tomorrow.
Well, yeah, but what are you going to lose more money on? A ticket, even if it's a fairly high ticket, or losing your entire business? I mean, at that point, that just costs to doing business. It's like I have to pay property taxes, this fine, and sales tax.
David,
like,
call in with this and tell us what happened. Tomorrow. I'm curious. I didn't know anything about that. freetalklive.com. Go there, sign up for our newsletter if you would, please. It's a great way to find out all the news that's going on with Free Talk Live. That's why we call it a newsletter. You can also sign up for our Telegram and get our show prepped that way, and all kinds of ways to stay involved with Free Talk Live.
Remember when you first heard about Bitcoin? How long did it take you to realize this little project would soon change the world? Do you kind of wish you had got involved sooner? Well, now is your chance to be a part of the next revolution in money. Intercoin is working to finally make crypto go mainstream. It's designed to be scalable enough to support everyday payments and even elections without the state. Bitcoin was originally supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system, the way we would all pay one another without having to trust any third party. But instead, over time, it mostly became a store of value. That's because every 10 minutes, the Bitcoin network must put all transactions into a block, and that block can only hold so much. If crypto is to become mainstream for people to use it for everyday payments, we need a new architecture, one that is as secure as Bitcoin while being far more scalable. Check out intercoin.org to find out more and maybe pick up some of those coins for yourself.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at lrn.fm.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with the SNLS Network and listeners like you. Online at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,729, silver at $15.24, and Bitcoin is trading around $7,519. Today's gold, silver, and Bitcoin prices are brought to you by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven. The Liberty Beat and Brave Botanicals believe so strongly in the power of kratom, we're giving it away for free. Just go to libertybeat.news/free kratom. This is the Liberty Beat at snlsnetwork.com. In the news, David Beasley, director of the United Nations World Food Program, told the UN Security Council this week that the world is on the brink of a hunger pandemic, and we could be facing, quote, multiple famines of biblical proportions within a short few months, end quote. Beasley warned that the world is facing a perfect storm due to the pandemic, economic crisis, locust swarms, and numerous wars that are still ongoing across the planet. The Mind Unleashed reports that according to the 2020 Global Report on Food Crisis, which was published this week, an additional 135 million people will be facing starvation by the end of the year. Beasley said that places like Haiti, Nepal, and Somalia, where a large number of families depend on income from overseas workers, will be hit especially hard. He urged world leaders to set aside their differences and slow down their military adventures to meet the current challenge. Ever wonder where we find all the news to report right here on the Liberty Beat? Visit snls.news to get the world's most censored media published all in one place. Save yourself from the endless time spent searching for reliable alternative media. SNLS News makes it quick and easy. No ads, no clickbait, just raw headlines, 24 hours a day. Visit snls.news and get informed today without the corporate media spin. Your news now continues. In the wake of the ongoing COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic, premium supermarket chain Whole Foods has redesigned its uniform, giving employees shirts that designate them as heroes and hardcore. The revamp is one of many actions large corporations across the world have taken to symbolically thank their workers amidst the global crisis. Minpress News reports that the move has not been appreciated by many of Whole Foods' 91,000 staff who work in 500 stores across North America, especially as the retail behemoth has failed to provide staff with adequate wages or protective equipment, endangering their lives. A new petition, set up by activists, alleges that workers have to clean the store without protection or training and are unable to regularly wash their hands. Megan Murray, a Whole Foods store worker in Philadelphia, writes that many of the precautionary procedures put in place are laughably poor. Two Texas police officers went undercover in an elaborate sting operation to catch citizens giving salon services for money in their own home. The cops posed as regular citizens needing to get a manicure. Tipsters pointed police to a woman who was advertising manicure services on social media. Activist Post reports that Laredo police arrested Ana Isabel Castro Garcia at the 1200 block of Harding Street after she allegedly agreed to provide an undercover officer with a manicure. The 31-year-old Castro Garcia was arrested and charged with violation of Emergency Management Plan CB and was taken to the Webb County Jail, where she was offered a $500 bond. In a separate and unrelated case, 20-year-old Brenda Stephanie Matta was arrested at the 1100 block of Hubner Street after she allegedly offered to do an undercover cop's lashes. Just like Castro Garcia, she was charged with violation of Emergency Management Plan CB and was also taken to the Webb County Jail for booking. Support for the Liberty Beat is brought to you by the Homestead Guru. The Homestead Guru is an educational website offering tips, tools, news, stories, and commentary on everything homesteading. Topics include green homes, gardening, animal husbandry, do-it-yourself, home remedies, alternative energy, survivalism, unschooling, and more. Those details are found online at thehomestead.guru. This is the Liberty Beat, powered by the SNLS Network at snlsnetwork.com. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with AgristHosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to AgristHosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's AgristHosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM. The latest edition of The Tatiana Show is next on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM. Get more at TatianaMorose.com.
Hey there, it's time for the show, The Tatiana Show, where you make friends and talk life and crypto.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Tatiana Show. You may be all prepped out, so you're in luck because we're not going to be talking about prepping. We're going to go back to our usual interests because the world cannot be consumed by coronavirus, and we're going to learn about a new type of blockchain project called Minima. My friend Freya told me all about this, and then I met Hugo a couple days ago. I kind of grilled him a little bit because I was really trying to understand the technology. I know, Josh, you're going to understand the tech part a little bit more, but I think that there's a lot of interesting stuff going on with this project. So Hugo, thank you so much for joining us. Hugo is the CEO over at Minima, Hugo Feiler. So thank you so much for making the time to join us today.
Thank you very much, Tatiana. It's great to be here.
Excellent. Tell us a little bit about Minima.
Okay, so Minima is a new base layer blockchain protocol. The whole reason for our existence is to become the most decentralized blockchain protocol in existence. In order to do that, every user needs to be equal on the network. Every participant needs to be equal. We can't have one person or one organization that is in control of the other. And so we're not reliant on miners or block producers or leaders. Everyone is an equal. In order to do that, we are a blockchain protocol based on proof of work, because as far as we're concerned, that is the only